Today, I'm going to be showing you how you can earn hundreds of dollars per day in DeFi passive income by leveraging your already existing crypto portfolio. Now, one thing I want to go and mention is this is not going to require a multi-$100,000 investment, but at the same exact time, you cannot do this strategy with $5,000 or so dollars. Don't expect to make these types of returns. Now, to establish my credibility, I've been in the decentralized finance space, earning passive income since I was 16 years old. I'm now 20 years old. I'm majoring in finance, and I'm getting a background in finance so I can manage capital later on in life. Now, for the past 1 year, I've been working with people to help them establish life-changing passive income off of decentralized finance. Some of the results are shown on screen if you really want to pause it. Now, the first pool on this list that I want to go ahead and showcase is one that I'm personally in, and I currently have roughly $15,000 allocated to it. This is Wrap Bitcoin Dematic on Uniswap on the Polygon network. It is currently and has been doing 65% APR for the last 80 days or so, with me being in this pool. Looking specifically at this position, you can see I'm printing roughly a 65% APR. I deployed roughly $15,000, and that's currently worth $17,700. However, I've also been able to collect $2,150 in earnings, and I've profited $2,700 from price appreciation. This puts me at an overall $5,000 profit in 80 days alone. So ultimately, I have double the profit as if I were to just go out and hold these initial assets, and that's shown by the only $35 in impermanent loss that I have. And if you guys aren't too familiar with impermanent loss, as long as these earnings are higher, and in this case a lot higher than impermanent loss, you are winning compared to somebody that just held their assets in the market. So as you can see, I'm completely crushing that number right there, and I'm doing very, very well. But essentially with a $10,000 allocation, you're estimated to make about $18 per day, which comes out to about $6,500 per year. The best thing about concentrated liquidity pools is they are liquid. You can withdraw at any given time. You can collect your fees at any given time. But the thing is, you do have exposure to the underlying assets. This is not risk-free. You have to be willing to take on exposure to Matic and take on exposure to Wrap Bitcoin in this scenario. But for me, this is a pretty blue chip pool, and it's doing a very, very good APR, which is why I'm in it. And of course, there's not just stuff on this list from Uniswap. We also have stuff over from Orca. So for example, I want to take a look over at this Jupe to USDC pool. It's currently doing about 100% APR if you range up with about 0.4 to 0.7 or so. And this is a pretty good return on the Solana network. Now, I am not personally in this pool, so I do want to go ahead and mention that, but I do have clients that are in this pool and have been doing a really good return recently. Now let's talk about what Jupe is. If you head over to the platform jupe.ag, it's essentially an aggregator for the Solana network. So what that means is it's going to make sure that I get the best possible route. If I trade, let's just say 100 render for USDC, as you can see, it's going to go ahead and route me through the best possible trade to make sure I get the most out of my trade. So as a trader, avoiding slippage, especially on large trades, is a very important aspect. So by using Jupe, you can avoid the most slippage possible. And Jupe is basically the governance token or reward token behind Jupiter Exchange. So do be aware of that. You do have potential risk there. And if you guys are curious about how exactly I found these pools, how I determine the ranges, how I found the fee tiers, and all of that good information, and even as far as conducting due diligence on the underlying assets, I do recommend you check out my private community. It just launched, and we're only charging $75 as a monthly charge. The best part is you can cancel at any given time. You don't even have to talk to us. It's as simple as clicking the cancel button. But I'm confident that you guys are going to stick around because I really think the value that we're providing is amazing. You're essentially getting access to all of our mini courses, stuff like the Solana yield farming course that teaches you everything you need to know about earning passive income on the Solana network, which retails at $35, or the Uniswap V3 mini course, which also retails at $35. And this goes over everything related to Uniswap V3. And we're releasing new mini courses every single month and also hosting weekly group calls with all of the people in this group. And the best part is you get to keep up to date with the latest and greatest in the DeFi sector from our client success manager, which goes over all the latest information that you need to know. But enough rambling on about this. You guys can check the link in the description if you guys are interested. And obviously there's an opportunity to work one-on-one with myself if you really are looking to take things further. Now we do have another pool on the Solana network. This one is also on Orca because Orca tends to be where the largest amount of liquidity is, which means a lot of the volume goes over to Orca as well. This one is sold to render. It's on the Solana network. It is currently doing 200% APR. Now I am personally in this pool and I have been making a killing amount of money basically. And I want to go ahead and show you kind of my results so far. So far, I have came out to a $467 profit. $235 of that is from fees, and about $235 is from price appreciation. Now, something that you're going to note is that I do have $250 of permanent loss, which means I'm actually losing to somebody that just held in the market. But what I want to go ahead and put out there is time in the market as opposed to trying to time the market. I've been in this pool for about 2.5 days. So being able to accumulate this type of return so far is really, really good. And over time, as this continues to perform, as there's a ton of volume for this pair, these earnings are going to continuously build up, whereas this impermanent loss isn't going to build up nearly as fast, and I'm going to start to outperform. When I first entered this Wrap Bitcoin Dematic pool, I got completely killed by impermanent loss. I think I had like $400 of impermanent loss and like $100 of earnings. It was not a good ratio, but by sitting in the pool and just letting it do its thing, that impermanent loss went down over time because assets started to retrace and come back in correlation, but also my earnings started to build up and up and up because earnings are only going up. So by having that time in the market, I was able to accumulate all these fees, minimize that impermanent loss, and come out to an overall profit. And I expect the same exact thing from Render to Sol. I previously made roughly $5,000 from this pool before, but it's doing a 414% APR for me. But once again, that is not really realistic long term. I'll be the first person to say that. It's probably going to settle down to about 200% for a month or so, I would say. But with that being said, a $10,000 investment is returning you roughly $20,000 per year, and that's about $55 per day, so making up for a good portion of the passive income portfolio here. And then of course we have Ethereum to Tau. Now personally, my community has seen amazing results with Ethereum to Tau. I am not personally in it because I have not allocated money over to the Ethereum network. I would recommend making sure that you have a broad range with Ethereum to Tau if you are planning on getting into this, mainly because the Ethereum gas fees are very high. So unless you're going in with a super large amount of capital, like $20,000-$30,000, you want to make sure you have a broad range so you could sit in the pool for longer so those gas fees can easily be made up. Because remember, gas fees are not proportional to the amount that you deploy. If you deploy $10 versus $1 million, it's going to be the same gas fee basically. Now looking over at Ethereum to Tau on Builder Metrics, a $10,000 investment is expected to return you roughly $55 per day. And that's actually with this range of 3.3 to 6.4 gives Tau a lot of exposure at the start, which you're going to want if you are bullish on Tau. And essentially as the price of Tau starts to outperform Ethereum, you are going to get shifted into Ethereum, so you will eventually need to rebalance. We actually had a client that posted a success story a day ago, Ethereum to Tau making him over $6,000 in just a few days, with about $2,000 of that being from earnings in his position. That's not too bad. That's a 60% return on investment for that pool for him. So essentially what we're coming at is a $40,000 investment across these pools is expected to do about 140% APR, which comes out to about $155 per day. Now, one thing I want to go ahead and mention to you guys is these pools will not last forever. If you're watching this 3 months past the upload date, these pools have probably already come and gone because pools do come and go. Sometimes pools are doing really high returns, other times they're doing really low returns. Like I got in this Sol Render pool in December, and throughout the whole of December, it was great. And then January came by, the first 2 weeks of January completely sucked. I went from doing 200% on the pool to doing like 50% on the pool. So I got out. And then comes end of February, or about halfway through February, I guess I could say, and this pool is doing good again, right? It's now back up to the 200%. So sometimes pools will just go away and the returns won't be nearly as good because either the asset becomes more blue chip and it attracts more liquidity, or the asset starts dying down so people don't want to invest in it or provide liquidity for it. So now there's no trades, or of course it just has its cycles just like every other asset and just like this Sol Render pool did for me. So if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to drop a like and subscribe with notifications turned on. Do not forget to check out my private community. Once again, you're getting access to a plethora of resources and all the information is on the landing page. And assuming you like what you see in the Builder Wealth private community, you can hit this apply now button in the important information channel and apply to actually speak with myself or one of the members of my team to join our DeFi Accelerator program where we're going to work one-on-one with you. Hope you enjoyed. Drop a like, subscribe, and peace out.